Hi guys, my name is Pamela and this is Pamela World. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. In today's video, I'm going to prepare Ghana's authentic meat pie. So come along, let's prep ingredients and get started. The list and measurements of all the ingredients I used will be in the description box. I went ahead to prep my potatoes. I'm using Irish potatoes. I chopped them finely into nice cubes. Then I went ahead to prep my carrots, my green peppers, my onions, and when everything was done, I was ready to get started. We'll be prepping our minced meat on medium heat to ensure that it is well cooked. In a bowl, I added a tablespoon of oil, then I proceeded to add my washed minced meat. I went ahead to add my spices. These are mixed spices from Ghana. I added some black pepper, curry, complete seasoning, and a cube of Maggi, plus some chili powder. I added my special spice blend, which is ginger, onion, garlic, and some rosemary. Then I put in the potatoes because they take longer to cook, and added a little carrots and green pepper for the aroma. After mixing this to cook, I covered it, then went ahead to prepare some cornstarch, which will help to serve as a binder for my protein, which will be my filling. For the filling, allow the meat to cook in its own juice, and on medium to low heat is preferred. Then I wipe my whole surface area that I'll be using to prep my dough. And guys, I'm a lazy kneader, so I just measured my flour. Usually I don't measure, I already know what I want in my head, but this time I measured so I can write in the description box. Then I stirred my filling from time to time, added the remaining vegetables and lowered the heat to cool, then added my cornstarch, give that a good stir, close that up to cool down. I added some butter to my flour. When I measured the flour, it was about 6 cups, so I added enough butter, but if at any point you need to add a little more, that's okay. I mixed this a little until it was halfway done. I realized I needed a little more, so I went ahead to add it, and I kneaded it just like my mom would do. In fact, this recipe is inspired by my mom, who taught me how to bake and cook. Shout out to her if you meet her anywhere in the world. I added some nutmeg and some salt to taste. People usually add the dry ingredients first before they add the wet ingredients, which I recommend, but if you've done this for years, I mean, you get used to it. Then I added some water. Water is important because it helps to prevent your crust from drying. Then I added some milk and allowed it to sit for a while. One thing I'll always do is clean my work area from time to time. I lined my baking sheets. Then I prepared my work area so I could start making the meat pies. Generously spread enough flour onto your work area before you start. This helps prevent the dough from sticking onto your rolling pin. Also put some flour on your rolling pin, and I always decide to do this in batches because it helps to reduce the energy and effort needed. And I'm using a rolling pin from Daiso. As you can see, it's a very basic rolling pin. Roll out your crust and then cut out the sizes you want. I'm going for the round meat pies today, so you just roll in bits. What I like to do is take a little, spread it with my hand, then roll, cut out the shape I want, which is round for today, and pile all of that up. I usually like to roll all my crust before I start putting in the filling, so that immediately I start putting in the filling, then I'm baking. However, if you are time bound, you can be doing this as you go. That's putting in the filling as you do the rolling as well. Now it's time to put in the filling. You have to be generous with this. I put about 1.5 tablespoons into each round crust, and there are 2 ways to close your pie. One, you could use your hand. You use your hand, especially your thumb, to go all around just like I'm doing in this video. If you don't want your crust to be thin, then don't roll it out so much. However, if you want something very crunchy, you can roll it out. Then put in your filling. And now the technique I'm going to show you here is that when you are using the fork, don't close it and raise the fork, or else your pie will not be closed up well. So don't do this, no. Rather, do this and pull to the floor. Pull. Keep pulling just like that, and your pie will turn out very beautiful. And also make sure the upper part overlaps the lower part. This makes it have a very nice look. However, if you're making it for home like I'm doing, you don't have to worry so much about the upper and lower part being the same. So you do this for the remaining crusts that are available. I decided to use either the fork or the hand method, and both turned out very fine. Since I moved to Japan, baking has served as therapy for me, especially when I miss my mom because she taught me how to bake. So after everything is done, you are going to perforate holes to prevent your pie from opening up when you are baking. Then you prepare your egg wash. I'm using just egg this time, but people use egg and milk. You can use whatever you have available, and you just brush the top generously. Don't brush too much that it gets onto the sheet, or else it will be difficult to take your pies up when they are cooked. Then I pop this into the oven, and they came out looking so good and delicious. Just take a look at this. You can enjoy this with a chill drink, you can share with family and friends, and you can even make this a business. So what are you waiting for? Enjoy this with your friends this Christmas season. Merry Christmas!